Also, that makes it equally accessible by all staff that work with Callahan House. So they don't necessarily have to be at one particular computer to get specific files. You can do it. It's a cloud-based system. So Ben would have access to files. I have access to files. The new Callahan House manager would have access to files. You know, so it's not just stuck in one location. And we also, the other exciting part that I appreciate, it's more for our staff, is that we have a Callahan House calendar. So now, something that when Ben was looking at doing some things here, which we'll talk about later, he's able to look at the calendar and see it's okay to do it on this day because there's things not happening or are happening. So we're just really appreciating the internal workflow, and it is a transition for Betsy and Jacqueline, you know, because the rest of the city did this transition a few years ago with a lot of kicking and screaming. And so I can be very sympathetic to where they're at right now because it is different. But it's working very well, and I'm just really pleased with how they're doing with that. But, anyway, I'm just excited to have one email. You know,
can I ask you what that email is?
Callahan at Longmont, Colorado.gov. And Longmont, Colorado is all spelled out, slammed together, like Ben's email at the top of the board meeting.
Oh, because we look at that. Okay.
Right.
That's the full page.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the email we'll use from now on, then, if we want to get a hold of you or
The house, yeah, in
Okay.
general. So we'll be transitioning to that with the boards not the boards, the groups, inquiries. If someone calls and leaves a message on the phone, an email is sent with that voice message to Callahan at longmontcolorado.gov. So it just makes us able to be more responsive without.
So who all has access to this email then? Within you and Ben and Jacqueline and Betsy?
Betsy, yes. Betsy.
If you want to get a hold of one of us, just.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we know that if we send an email with at least 4 people, we'll see it. Okay.
I can't guarantee it.
quick question.
No.
Yeah.
Is that calendar going to be shared with us because we can put it up directly on our calendars? Is that something that we can do?
I don't know on that one. I'll have to check.
Not that we could, change it or anything, but if we're included on the calendar, then we can update our own calendars quickly on our phones and know when dates are set for like art walk or other events or anything like that, or
Okay.
We can look at that. Now, I don't know, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if this is a calendar yet that we would have out beyond an internal one. I don't know, but I think it's a really good question.
I don't see
a reason we couldn't have, construction stuff on there and things like that where you guys could see it.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like a good idea, but I think let her and I vet that out.
Okay. At the very least, if we could have access to see it, just look.
Yeah, no, I get it. Right. I think it's a good idea. Let's think about it a little bit.
Okay.
Well, all this stuff.
Well, I know in the past our meetings have always been like RSVP for all the meetings and whatever else, and they just come in and we can then hit it and it goes on our calendar on our phones and it's all good.
For the meetings?
Meetings, anything for any of the extra.
Anything that's needing our presence or attention?
Yeah, such as working on projects or decorating for Christmas or any of that kind of stuff.
We can, if I understand you correctly, you're saying like if in the guise of Callahan at longmontcolorado.gov, invite the board to meetings, such as our regular board meetings, invite it to the scheduled activities that you guys have decided upon, then we can send those invites out to you and then those will upload to your calendar. That's what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
apologize.
No, that's okay.
Clear, but I was thinking, is this all going to be incorporated within that calendar?
We can do that.
Okay.
There's
Works for the trash department, and so I know when it's composting.
No need for us to know when the clubs are meeting or somebody's scheduled a memorial service, or we don't need to know that stuff.
No.
But that's where I'm wondering how deep this calendar will go.
I think it's a meeting invite from the calendar,
okay.
the Callahan calendar.
That makes more sense.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, it seems like even if it's something that doesn't involve us that we don't have to do,
we wanna know what things are happening when, if we're planning
That's true. That's would be
to
nice to
add
have
events.
visibility to it.
I don't know if I want that all popping up on my personal
No.
calendar.
Yeah.
You could go look at it.
Yeah, I wanna go
Yeah.
look at it.
Look at
I
it.
don't
Right,
know.
that would be good.
I
Which
can,
makes
I can
sense.
do that. I don't know about that.
Well, as far as that though, can we access it to look at it?
We'll
That's
check
what-
on
that's
that.
what we
That's
want
for
to
you.
talk
Yeah,
about.
okay.
That's, yeah.
Okay.
That's,
Because like construction, that
Sure.
kind of stuff.
Sure.
That's-
yeah, okay, this is starting, that's what you
And I'm
expect.
sorry to muddy the waters, I tend to, I don't mean to.
Well,
It's
these
just-
are muddy waters, and we're
They are
we're
muddy
figuring
waters.
stuff out. So that's
And I
think
had
it's
thought
a
of
good
that.
idea.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. So moving forward, we are reviewing job description right now. We have several things going on in recreation right now. Well, lots of things, including feasibility study and master plan, which are going to be an extremely tight timeline for the feasibility study that I am literally after this meeting calling the consultant to set our first meeting and needing to hit the ground very fast running to have this done by June so that we can hand it to city council to be prepared for this bond that's planned for next November. So that's going to be a lot of me and recreation in the next couple months. And at the same time, we'll have to find what we're doing with my previous position. So we're having discussions about that. We are in interviews for a therapeutic recreation person, which is a combination between us and senior services. Very excited, very, very past due for this city to have a therapeutic recreation person finally.
That's great.
I'm proud of that because I've been fighting for that since the day I moved over to the Memorial Building. So we're super excited. We've got some good candidates for that. And this position, so we are reviewing job description and we would look to post it as soon as we can and have it out for a few weeks and then start the process of hiring. And we'll do that as quickly as we can. I mean, I think our goal would be to have somebody here, before summertime, for sure. Sometimes the speed of the city is not speedy,
Right.
but we've got the pieces in place to be able to put this forward, get things going. I don't know if we have it as another ticket item. Yeah, we do. I guess we're talking about the project. Well, I guess linked with this, we are pulling back right now. We obviously don't have a house manager's report. I beg your grace on that for a bit here. We have the information, so we'll be able to re-up. I can't tell you it's going to be in the exact form we've had. We're going to be looking at some adjustments. We'll be talking with you guys about that. Kathy took great data. She took great data, so all of that stuff is in place, and everything looks good. We don't have there's no issues here right now to worry about, but we want to be able to continue to provide you guys with good information and look to do that as quickly as possible. I cannot guarantee we'll have that by April, but by May I certainly would like to see us being able to update you guys better than we are right this minute. What am I missing? And so some of the things we've kind of taken a break on new reservations right now. We're reviewing any new reservations for here. We're looking at very cautiously, both from the staffing aspect, and we'll talk a little bit about the grant, where we're at with the grant, and a building aspect. So this is just going to be one of these years where we've got to be super cautious with this stuff. And once we get somebody, it's not like,
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to take some time.
Yeah.
We're trying to be respectful that weddings are a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that if, and as we're just trying to keep it to small things, like a business meeting, like, okay, we can work with a business meeting, or like a request for 2 weeks from now. We're feeling pretty good about that. But the things that are huge and months in advance, we want this day at this time, we're like,
we've pulled off 2 of our advertising deals
Yeah.
right now, which we can certainly re-up whenever we choose to. If we,
Is that
if we
wedding
need
wire?
to.
The wedding at Wired and
Or not. We've pulled off those for the moment. It's just not, we don't need to fill our docket right now, which was always the plan. I mean, that's kind of always, I don't know that necessarily pulling off those was the plan right then, but it's makes sense right now as we get this news person going. You know, I always look at opportunity, and we're whenever somebody leaves, we look at opportunity. How can we make adjustments? Is the job fit exactly right? All of those things. It's an opportunity, and we're excited. We're excited. I mean, the stuff Sue Ellen's doing behind the scenes and nuts and bolts really gets this place up to speed with other things we're doing in the city. It makes sense. So, yeah, that's what I've got. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer?
Well, I'm just wondering about weddings already scheduled. Can you kind of just run down?
Prioritize. You gotta
Right.
prioritize.
They're gratefully lumped, in the sense that we do have a wedding this month. That'll be in a few weeks, and we have some in June and July. But we've got a nice kind of long gap from late July to early September with nothing currently scheduled. We're kind of trying to like keep that reserved for the moment for some different things.
Right.
We need to see that. But,
We're really not thinking that we're gonna have that gap anyway with the grant that we're gonna be working with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have always been discussing that we need to be really cautious about the reservations we take. But the ones we currently have, we're certainly prioritizing, making sure, like we said, we can adjust a business meeting, but a wedding, we know what that means.
Right.
It's huge.
That they need to happen, they need to come off.
Yeah, they
that
planned
way,
it.
right?
We've made a commitment to them.
Yeah.
yes, we have.
Just surviving that as of recently, yes, I gotta say, it is a big deal. Do-overs aren't,
Less than your schedule.
A whole bunch in college, and
Right,
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, any other questions about any of this stuff quickly?
no, other than thanking you both for all the extra work that you're putting in. And
Okay.
thank you, Sue Ellen, for doing all the behind stuff. It's great.
It's exciting. I mean, change is exciting. We're good at change and recreation. It's something that it's kind of our nature, and we don't get terribly set in our ways. We're always looking at whatever the next thing is and trying to make sure we're optimizing what we've got. Very excited about this year. I am. I have a new job and
Right.
that, and we're hoping that there'll be a big vote in December and maybe a new rec center in a couple of years here, which would be plus. There's plus. That's talking about my piece, but there's a lot to that. As anybody who's read the articles about it knows, or done the survey. Who's done the survey? It was quite the survey. I'll tell you, Park and Rec Board was not terribly fond of it, but we didn't have any input.
It's not like we were saying you have to do it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you gotta get one vote.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what we got.
Other
Yeah.
business?
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of a bombshell, but that was, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we'll swoop back up for old business.
Which
Yes.
Is you
leads
again?
perfectly to this. Yeah.
Right.
So unfortunately, right this minute, we still can't really comment because we do not have a contract. So that's, we had hoped to, we should have, and I can't comment as to why. I can just tell you guys that we're kind of frustrated right now, but we have some movement. We don't feel like we're in a bad place. Sometimes these things just take longer than we would like them to, and that's seeming to be the case right now. So I wish I could tell you guys more, but I am optimistic. We had some news this morning, and we'll get. I hope very much that we have a contract by the time we meet again, and we will have hopefully had meetings where we are talking timelines, and we can tell you guys about those and the plans. So I know that's frustrating. I wish I could say more. We're, this close, and it should have been done by now. And it's not anybody in the city's fault, including Kathy. This is entirely external. But we're managing that.
So I'm sorry, bring me up to speed. You're talking about a contract.
Between a contractor and the city to do the work.
Okay, the construction.
And linked to that, did I have anything on the curb on here? Because this would be the point.
It's a new
Okay.
business.
Okay, then I will wait till then. Any other questions on the, again, what I can and can't answer? And
Or the can't answer it.
I'm a very open person, so Ellen knows that. I tell her most every secret, but this one and we're on camera. So.
So not to tell you any of our deep family secrets, because you'll let everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's kind of why
I'll let
I'm saying,
Sue
yeah. We'll go that far.
There you go. So just because based on the other business, and we know the summer is kind of open, we haven't been booking things. Do you have pretty good optimism that maybe some of these projects can be started during that slack period? Yay!
It's certainly our plan. It's certainly.
That's been the long-term goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving along, the Callahan House Advisory Board annual report to the city. I'm not sure who is your charge of that.
I brought copies because I just like out of habit. I just thought, well, let me be prepared in case, because but let me see what.
Well, I already have one.
I because I helped
Great.
read 7 copies, I think. Yes.
Okay.
All right, I think we're okay.
You're good.
Did I get
You're good.
I'm sure.
You
Yeah.
good?
We're good too.
You good?
Oh, they're not. Oh,
No, you're
okay. You're good.
Yeah, share.
So just to clarify, this is a report that's done every year,
correct.
Yes.
and it is whose responsibility to file it, to prepare it?
To prepare it, the board, the chairperson and board members prepare it along with the house manager's details from house manager's reports and any other information that we would need to ask of the house manager that would be included. And then the board reviews the draft.
And that's what we're doing.
And that's what we're doing. And then once it's approved by the board, the chairperson signs it and the house manager, it has
The
previously signed it.
chairperson for those
But,
years.
yeah, for those years. And the house manager normally signs it, but the staff liaison can sign it. And then it's submitted to the city clerk and goes through the process as Mayor Peck explained in the last meeting. The only things that I was waiting on were the numbers. I had emailed Kathy about asking these numbers and copied Karen and Maureen on that email as well, because the three of us worked on it and finalizing this.
Because
But I don't have those numbers, so that's why you have question marks and highlights in this usage chart.
We're missing a few details.
we are missing a few details, and the bottom line is the reason why we did it this way is because it's the chair for those years that is being submitted, and we're submitting for the years in which I was chair. And then
3 years, yeah.
Annie would go forward and do yours for this year following.
Well, the reason the person who is currently the chair is like next year at this time I won't be on the board anymore. So the current chairman of that next year will be signing it, and it should always be this.
That may be the case for next year, for this year and next year, I guess, but for the last 3 years, and since she's still a member, then that she was the chairperson for those years, and those years are what we're reporting on.
But if it's a yearly report,
It should be, except it
Yeah,
should
it
be,
should
but
be,
we
except
we weren't
probably
aware of
gotten
it.
away.
It
so it
did.
shouldn't,
Yeah, it
you
did.
do your report.
And ideally,
Yeah, but I mean next year at this time, I won't be here to sign it.
well, ideally, in our bylaws,
Track it down.
we have that
So that's, I'm
November.
saying the current people in. Okay.
So for this year, for 2023, let's be clear, for 2023, in our bylaws, we have that we're supposed to have our annual report done for the November board meeting so that the board members can review it in November and then present it to the clerk. And then hopefully in December is when the chairperson would be able, well, not only in November be able to sign the report, but hopefully in December, if city council has room on their agenda to allow us to present at that time, then the chairperson will be presenting the report that was submitted through the clerk's office. Does that make sense?
If anything,
Okay.
it's exceedingly late is the problem.
Yeah.
So you would still be
You would
the
still,
chair when it's time to sign it.
for 2023.
It's not just before December.
Yeah, that's why we have in our bylaws that way, so that the intention is to be by the close of the year that you're reporting on.
So
It
if
just
anything,
happened with this one,
we need
happened that way.
to jump on getting the next one done, if anything. I mean, this is,
Well, we will, I think June will probably be a good time to have that on the agenda, just in case if you wanna make a note of putting that on the agenda for June, that, begin to, prepare.
Well, yearly reports very seldom are completed in the year of their completion.
Exactly.
They're always
Yeah, they're
fiscally
always-
over a couple months, so that's something you should plan on.
Yeah, you don't have the data
Yeah,
for
you
the year
start,
until
that's
the next year.
your normal business procedure to have last year's report next year.
That's really why this kind of got kicked.
Yeah, so I think we should plan it. It's always gonna be the final one will be in January or February of the following year.
and then we're gonna have to vote to change that in the bylaws then.
It's something you can
That's
look at.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should be,
But I also brought with me the attachments that are referred to in here. I do have 7 of them, so if you pass them along and share them.
Is it just one?
Just one, yeah, it's one. As you'll look through this report, you'll see the first document that is in the 2022 listing. It's the historic Callahan House, a piece of Longmont's history marketing brochure was updated. See attached, that is what this is. It's pink in color. Candy, you might remember, Karen, you may remember, it's a pink color. This is the draft that I had, so that's what I printed because it's the final that I had, so that's what I printed, but I don't have the pink one. So I just wanted to make sure everyone had the content.
Okay. Contents.
And then also, the 2 new brochures that were created were the Callahan House self-guided tour and the Callahan House wide historic restoration and preservation is important. Now, the prior board members have those already, but I did make copies for the Candy, Brittany, and Cindy because you were not here last year, so you would not have received those. So, and this, to Candy, Brittany, and Cindy. Everybody else has these.
Yes.
Brittany, and there are 3 documents coming your way, so Brittany, Cindy, sorry, and Candy. And then here's the 3rd one coming your way, the restoration and preservation. Brittany, Cindy.
are these something you can easily print up, Sarah?
They have, yes, Sue Ellen has these. The house has them printed for the open house events. They're here.
So these should now be in the new file system?
Yes, if they can be added to the new Teams drive, that would be great, because that's for everyone. The next thing is the room by room docents tour details. That, of course, I just handed that document to. So the 3 documents that were created last year, I just gave to Cindy, Brittany.
Okay, so that's under
it's on page 2 in the bottom under 2022, the activities for 2022. So you have the overview of recent years, and then it goes through the recent years, 2020, 2021, 2022. These were the documents that are referred to, in 2022. And then also, in 2020, QR code that was enhanced to include the opportunity for visitors to donate. And again, I made 7 of those, so everyone has them, but this is what is outside the doors, the external doors. And so that people who are visiting the grounds can scan the QR code to get to information about the house, some of the historic information, and also have the opportunity to donate, which Sue Ellen added, which was wonderful, so that we can receive donations that way.
They physically can get information.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So is this already up somewhere?
It is. It's outside the front door, outside the porch side door on the south. And that's what the QR code is. Yes.
I say that every day.
I bet you do.
And then the rental rates for events that were increased to be consistent with market rates. You see it attached 2-page document. I made 7 copies of that too. So everyone has that. But previous board members last year received this last year, and it's been meeting minutes and incorporated in meeting minutes from when that was done.
So this would be included in the full report that would be turned in. These would be additional.
These are attachments to this document, and some of us who are returning have them already. You all don't, but I just wanted to make sure that I brought copies so everyone could again review.
Yeah, appreciate
Do you need one of these, Lily?
I'll take, is there an extra one? Do you have one?
I've got one at home.
Oh,
And let's see, and then the last documents that are referred to are the regular maintenance with the house manager. And
That's on page 4.
I'm sorry, yes, on page 4 under 2023 goals. It's so regular maintenance. Now Kathy had put together the spreadsheet that included everything all lumped together into one. I broke it apart and made one for general maintenance. Oh, I'm sorry, take one past me. I made 7 copies. And then one for restoration and preservation, because they are separate lists.
This is separate.
And you'll see that, yes, you'll have future projects, and then you'll have currently in progress. So take a look at these.
And how are they going to be put forward? Are they general maintenance first and then?
Yeah, because it's just how it's listed in the bullet points under the 2023 goals.
Okay.
It's, it just shows a list of, and shows to the council the list of, some maintenance things, some general maintenance things that are being looked at or addressed or coming up to be looked at and addressed. And then the list of future restoration and preservation projects that are being, that are noted and aware of and are on the.
How were these lists created?
I created these 2 separate spreadsheets from the one spreadsheet that had everything included in it, that Kathy had pulled together from what she had created and from the information that we had also contributed. So it was everybody, the board and Kathy.
Brought a whole list of everything that we
Yeah.
thought, and then some of it was redundant, and then others we added it to it, and then Kathy took all that information and created a spreadsheet.
So this is the same information, it's just broken out.
Yes. Information just broken out so that general maintenance, which is just regular maintenance issues that are separate from historic restoration and preservation projects, which is quite different. So, and then you'll see on the maintenance, you can see I just left everything in future maintenance. I don't know what, if anything, is in progress right now. And so that might be a question for Jacqueline and Betsy, because they would know what maintenance is occurring here at the house. Is that maybe right? I don't know. I don't know.
That would be us, understanding what's happening.
Okay, well, at least now we.
Trying to get a replacement oven into the house.
into the house.
Wait a minute.
It's an auto house. It got delivered yesterday.
Oh, wait a
It's
minute.
an
What?
otter house. It's an otter house.
It can't fit through the door. That was fine.
What happened to the new stove that was installed in 2022?
It was not installed. We have a new stove. It was not installed.
Oh, okay.
So we need to change that.
Then I'll need to change that because Kathy reported that, but okay, let me change that.
Well, it's been paid for, right?
Oh, yeah, it's in the auto house. It's
Yes,
ours.
it's here, so I really
It's
change
here.
everything, yeah.
Well,
We could just say new stove.
Yeah, it's
Well-
there, it's paid for, it's there.
new stove, I'm gonna say instead of new stove
Acquired.
for the kitchen
Yeah, acquired.
was purchased.
There you go.
Okay.
We'll just reword it.
For the kitchen was purchased, and that was 2022.
Mhm.
And that is all of the attachments that I referred to.
This is a lot of information. I'm not so sure that. We were hoping to move forward at the last meeting, but the numbers are where we're being held up. I thought overall, looking at this, it was pretty complete. We were just wanting to verify numbers. Is there any way that we can get those from you, Sue Ellen? And then the sooner we can get this in, the better off we're gonna be because it's so late already. Anyway, but Karen, myself, and the two Karens have been working diligently on this. And Karen has helped write everything, and the other Karen has done a tremendous amount of research.
This is really impressive.
And
Covering so much territory.
Yeah.
It's 3 years of
it's
Yeah.
3 years
information,
worth
so-
because I had no idea that that's what I was supposed to be doing
Yeah.
until I.
Well, I don't, they've been done since 2016. I think that's the last time.
I can work to, I believe I not know where those files are. When you sent your original email, I didn't know.
Okay.
Now I do know. I
dug a new.
Yes.
Now you have idea.
Yeah, I do know. So I can get those to you, I think, by the end of the week. Now, the process of getting it before council is one that I need to submit to be on the agenda.
Right.
Do you want me to look for, April's probably the earliest I can get
That's
in.
fine.
Do you just want me to find the next available date that's there?
That's fine.
I think so.
I agree.
As Mayor Peck explained, I think all that happens is as soon as the report's done and you submit it to city clerk.
Right.
Then the city clerk gets it to Harold, city manager. And he
They finalize, yeah,
and
what's
then
on.
they choose when it's going to be placed on.
Yeah, then I can fit it in the
So-
agenda. Right.
Okay, so I can start that ball rolling, get the data to you.
Yeah,
Get the ball rolling, and then I can amend my submission, because they're not looking at things a month ahead of time. You know, they're doing it a little bit sooner, and I'll get the amended one in before they are looking at
Okay,
it.
perfect.
For that way I can at least get you on the agenda.
With the correction of the new stove,
Well, I don't know if we're,
is there any other things that anybody has seen? I know this is a real lot
I
of
was gonna say,
information
people
to
have
throw
not
at you.
had the opportunity to read through this, and I don't think it's fair to spring it on people to vote on it today. And I might ask if it's okay that we come back to April's meeting and vote on it then. Does that seem like that would be timely enough to?
How does April's meeting correspond with the city council meeting?
I don't think I can get it in before your meeting.
Okay. So I think it makes sense to not try and push this, to have everyone approve this when we haven't had a chance to read and digest it.
I thought Sue Ellen had said she was gonna get it on the city council
It's
agenda.
usually 6 weeks out.
Okay,
when
for
it's-
April.
Well,
Yeah, so the sooner you get yourself moving, and I think we've got time to do the approval before
April.
she would have to submit the
Yeah.
final.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
So I
And
don't think
that's
we need
the
to
key.
force approval
The
today.
later April meeting.
Yeah, I have
already
late
have
April,
things
early
that-
May.
And we can make adjustments or have.
Before it actually.
Yes.
If any adjustments needed can be then put into that submittal.
Okay, but did I get that right, that it's gonna be on the April city council? The city council meet once a month or once a week?
Three times a month.
3 times a month, so sometime in April it'll be on.
It'll be one of the later
I'll
ones, because
push,
we
I'll
wanna make
push
sure
for
we,
late or
Okay.
early May.
yeah, because we wanna make sure we meet again.
So we can read through this before the next.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Precisely.
Great.
And then if you see anything, give us a shout out, please.
Or-
That
or
we- if we
Before
need-
the meeting?
Yeah,
That would be helpful.
yeah, before, so that we can make the adjustments.
Before, so we can make the
Okay.
adjustments, so we can vote.
Alright, okay, great.
That's a beautiful report.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Maureen and Karen Reed.
Well, thank you, Karen.
Yeah. You
Got
ladies
the
have
ball
been.
started and I'm just
Help us get up a second ago before the April board meeting.
Yeah, to read through this,
I-
it sounds
if you-
like
if you see
sooner than
something,
later,
just
and you can say
shoot
something
me.
beforehand even, and so
And
then
the
we can
email
vote on
goes
it to the next
to-
meeting.
Yeah, but does that
Yeah.
work? Wait a minute, how does that work? How do we, do you want us communicating? I mean,
Send it,
it's going
send
to,
it to Sue Ellen. and
Callahan,
we
do
can-
you want that at Callahan or do you want?
Well, send it to the Callahan email, and then we can,
So that means read through it, if we approve it, send them an email?
well, no,
Either
not
way.
an
If
approval,
there
just
are
if you
questions.
have any questions or things.
Or
Okay.
corrections,
Yeah.
if you see any corrections or
Yeah.
anything like that, we're not voting on it,
So
Yeah.
that would be before, a few days before
And then we
Yeah.
can,
April meeting,
Yeah.
Before the
like
April meeting,
a
yeah.
week before the April meeting
that
or?
would be ideal. It would be
The sooner the better.
helpful
Yeah.
if it's by a week before the meeting, because then that way I can make any
adjustments.
And sorry,
So that would be like
Yeah, definitely.
by April 5th, is April
Let's see,
12th, the second Wednesday or?
yeah.
Can we get a copy then before the meeting
Well,
of any corrections?
yeah, that's the whole point. I think, if any
we can put
corrections
it
or
in the
changes
packet.
come to me by
Right,
like the Wednesday before our Wednesday meeting, I can make those corrections and changes,
Okay.
and then it can be submitted to be
Into the
included in the
packet.
packet that goes out.
That'd be great.
That's all we need.
And then we'd still have
You got
time
time
to
to
make
look
any
at it.
changes.
We send
Right.
our suggestions to Callahan.
Yes.
Yes.
Then I'll send those to
And then-
Karen and.
Okay, I
Lauren.
was gonna say, yeah, if you can just give me.
Yeah.
Karen, do you want to be included as well?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so Karen Reed, Maureen, and myself, please, so.
Is there any other thing on the report that you want to mention? Any other
I
questions?
think it's gonna be wonderful, I think city council will enjoy it.
I'm very excited.
So are we all gonna go to that meeting, that city council meeting?
We're all welcome to.
Cheer you guys on?
Well, I think everyone who can come should. I think it is a beautiful
The
thing
more
that
the
every
better.
lady here gives your time and your efforts and your energy and your expertise
And
and
that way they see it.
volunteers and they're, they need to see us.
I did hear from the mayor that she's sorry that she couldn't be at the meeting today. It just didn't work with her schedule. So otherwise she would have.
So we'll find out later on which, city council meeting this will be presented at.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're in the evening,
Exactly.
so great. Yeah, your schedule.
Tuesday evenings.
Okay, great. So, I guess we can move on to the next item, which is the April 26th open house. And, I don't know, will the recent changes affect that in any way? No. We're still a go? We're still a go, so is it gonna be from 4:30 to 6:30?
Yeah.
4:30 to
Just
6:30?
have on the-
Okay, so no changes then? Nope.
Okay, so are we going to be here as volunteers to help?
I was just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, who will actually be in charge? Will Jacqueline or Betsy be here too?
I will have one or both of them scheduled for that.
Okay, and then the house members, should we plan on?
That would be up to you guys.
Okay, well,
Well,
we usually do
we
come.
usually do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually, and so I think this would be just to continue with that and,
This is when our, excuse me just for a second, this is when our docents guide
oh, yeah,
becomes very helpful, and I think in April we'll be able to talk about who will provide what coverage. in what
Yeah,
room, right?
yeah.
We always kind of split up into.
Yeah. Everybody grabs a
Facilitated
room
in
and
a-
you kind of become an expert on that room.
Right.
So we'll go
I
through.
have a question. I'm sure the new board members probably
You'll
need
be-
name tags.
Oh, name tags, good idea. Kathy used to order those.
Yeah, they're over in.
We do have extras if you don't mind having the wrong name on.
Right.
What do they
I
look
wore
like?
Shirley already.
I know, I've worn other people's
I
toys.
have a nice label maker, I can make a
Does
label, we can put
anybody-
it
does
over the
anybody
other
have
name.
one?
Is there
Just
just
right
in
until
the
we
drawer?
get
They're
proper
like
name
in the
tags for
drawer
you?
here.
Do you want to look at it?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Throw
look
that
at
drawer
it.
open.
I mean, they're more to identify us as
There
Callahan
they are.
volunteers. Nobody really cares what our name is, you know, it's more to identify.
Yeah.
Perhaps,
Yeah.
that's them.
Oh, nice.
See, so
It's got a
Did,
magnet.
perhaps did Kathy order
Back
them?
here.
You know,
Just two different
same
varieties.
volume.
We should just get it.
So-
Oh,
Looks like it, yeah.
So we will probably go to the ones, we will change, we will probably not have these, we will go to the ones that we use in our operations,
Okay.
which are not nearly so complicated. They're, we can actually make it look the same, use the picture and stuff and such. And then it's like a clear, we print it, and then it goes inside of a clear,
Oh, so you
Cover.
just slide a change inside of it.
essentially, yes, yeah.
Is
And
it
that way they can, yeah, and they're just like this magnetic, so. And not
Just like
nearly
that.
so expensive or time consuming. It's really hard to get stuff like this on time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I believe mine was like, what, $100? Remember, I was so proud that I had the most expensive one.
Yeah.
Oh my.
No, I had no idea.
So I
So
have
we'll work
something,
on
I have something for a suggestion for content for constant contact for the spring open house. I'm gonna hand these that way. And again, take one, pass that on. I'll hand these this way because that way it gets you quicker to them. And then I also made a proposed house list form so that we can begin to
Do we need a book for this then?
allow people to, I don't know about a book, I think we can, I mean,
Book or something to hold it?
I don't know. I think that's something
Or
that,
just a clip book?
maybe just a clipboard is fine, and that way we can, write a thing on the top and make extra copies or whatever as needed.
What? For what purpose do you want
Oh,
to
good
sign
heavens.
in?
Do you remember how we
Your
talked
verses
about,
are
and agreed it would be great to have a guest list,
So we
of
can
anyone who wants to know about future, events,
She can-
upcoming,
she can-
upcoming events.
We talked about doing an email
And
blast.
so,
okay.
because people would say, hey, I'd love to know what's coming up, can you let me know?
Yeah.
We've had lots of guests
So-
ask, and so we thought, look, anyone who wants that, then we can have them with their name, their email address, and phone number, and then include them on a group email that Sue Ellen would send communications to.
That's what we talked about. But it's not something that's forced. It's only if you want to do
Yeah.
it.
Only if they're interested in receiving, and again, this is, the language on here is what I wrote. It just, if you would like to receive occasional email messages about upcoming events at the Callahan House, please provide your name, email address, and phone number. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again. So it's just this option for people.
Is that something that the, excuse me, that the city manages with other departments, you know, like something that, do you have like MailChimp or something like that already
We
in place
use,
to send out those communications?
Constant Contact is our
Okay.
email blast that we use.
So there's just not one for the Callahan House?
There's not at this time. To create one is definitely acceptable and doable without a problem. The request that I made of the board, or I do make of the board, is to provide the content.
Gotcha.
I make up a lot of things.
You
I
should
make
make
up a lot of things. And I think it's full with recreation.
She's so honest.
We appreciate that was on phone too. I would prefer to have your knowledge and expertise say exactly what you would like it to say, so that
And how often would we want to
right
send
now the
it
bar
out?
is low, it's 0. So wherever you want to go from there is up to you.
Very low.
So would this kind of look like the golf course blasts that come in?
Yeah, I've started to get those.
As far as emails are concerned,
It's coming through.
on Facebook, or is that how?
Well, more of what we do weekly on Constant Contact. That's what we do in recreation.
Every Thursday.
Golf course.
I love that.
11 a.m.
format. I would think you guys, I mean, I don't know that you guys want to do a regular thing. I think more
No,
related
It's
to
just
X or
something
Y
funny.
upcoming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that way it grabs people's attention,
Right.
in my opinion.
Yes.
Exactly, otherwise it just
Yes.
becomes
Well, like-
wrong.
Exactly.
Art walk,
Yeah,
And-
our walk, the open
and-
house.
and-
Right.
the Christmas,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Christmas open house.
I was just
or
curious if
Santa
that would
thing.
be the same type of.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah,
format,
we
we would put it in something similar, to what, some kind of similar, but its own shtick.
But it's only like
Special.
4 or 5
Yeah.
tops.
Not
Right, right.
not
Not a weekly thing.
No.
crazy throughout the year, just as something's coming up.
Can I get this? Can you email me?
Yes, I can email you the soft copy, yes. I just wanted everyone to have the opportunity to read this and see if it was acceptable.
Yes, does everybody like the wording?
So if we know somebody who may not be here, but would like to be on it, can we just submit their
Yeah, you can,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
I girl, she'd like to come to the same time. That way they get
I
it
just
in
want to
time.
be sure.
See, that's how I was way to commitment.
yes, to log in and
Yeah.
register. Yes.
What do we owe you for the ream of paper that you?
Yeah.
This is just, I donate this, this is just me trying to support the house.
I'm very excited, and I like the wording on the constant contact.
Yeah.
Great. And again, thank you for doing all this.
Yes.
This is not
Much
like
appreciated.
Yeah.
No,
detailed
clear.
details.
And I got super excited about Ann's idea.
Oh.
And so I thought, well, I'm gonna go online and see what I can find.
Oh, you found one?
I found a bigger box.
Hey!
It's a nice donation box.
It's not obnoxious.
It does lock. I haven't opened it or anything like that, but the keys are in there. And I think
That's a nice
I
size.
think it's from the company, my charity boxes. I think it's the same box that, I didn't get a close-up look at the box that we currently have, the little
It's
box.
very similar.
Okay, but it has a slit at the top, the lock is here, and this back piece, which I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap now just so that we can
I was
look
wondering
at
what
it,
that piece was.
is a display holder and also the back side that locks the
Great.
oh,
that's so cool.
so basically, this is a fun little goodie, but
So depending on how you want to slide it, if you don't want to put a thing in, you could put it up against the table and have it hold it in place, or you could put that's
Is
so
there a way to
cool.
fasten it to something?
all right, so the back is open until you slide this piece in.
So depending on how you slide it, it could either be on the bottom and hold it up against the
No,
table.
I don't think so. I don't think so. See, this is
Oh, I get it. Never mind.
yeah, this
Spoke
right
too soon.
orientation. And moving out of the way so you can see.
I apologize.
It just
You're absolutely
slides right down there, and then the lock gets through the little tabby in the back of this.
Now
Oh,
that's
nice.
old.
And this would hold
Any display thing.
this kind of
Information.
size, a display of information if you'd like to donate to the restoration
We
and
can-
preservation of Callahan
We can
House.
also put the QR code on this in
Right.
case people don't have cash,
Yes.
because people like my daughter never carry cash,
No,
but they will do
that
the QR code.
generation
like that.
doesn't have.
Yeah.
They
Now
don't even know
this,
cash.
if
Which
you
I
want to
don't
put a piece
use.
of paper under here, you'd have to tape it or something.
I think a simple little piece of,
Yeah.
like painter's tape or something
Yeah, something
can
But
hold
this
it.
isn't obnoxious or
But
anything.
it's
I
not.
like
No,
it.
no, it's, no, because the other ones we looked at were like,
Huge.
gimme,
Yeah.
gimme.
And it's not too small, so
Yeah.
people can't pluck something out of it, right?
Well, like
Right,
at
yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
where the
yeah,
little
yeah,
girl
yeah.
helped herself to a
The
$5
$5
bill.
Yeah.
Put it in her pocket, it was
But
out the door.
But I think it's just big enough to potentially you can set it on the table in the front, and I think the biggest concern was that it needed to be attended. So someone would be at the front, in the front room, anyway, and so it could be kind of standing nearby.
That's great.
I love it. Very nice, thank you.
Karen.
Yeah.
So now we have it ready for the next.
You're right on top of things, you just
Just thinking. Cross out.
Maybe some artistic person can make a pretty plaque to put in there.
Well, we can use the gate,
I like that. Yeah,
You know,
I like that idea.
like
and
we did on the.
yes, and I'll show you in a little. It kind of winds into this, but let me just show you. We can use this gate image that
that we have. Yeah, we use that pretty much.
Yes,
I love
it's
that.
kind of our signature.
Yeah.
We can use the gate image and then put some
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
brief language, the QR code,
And then
brief
big
language.
letters, donations.
Very nice.
Yeah. Some nice
Nicely done,
language.
Karen, thank
Yes.
But anyway, I think it's exciting because now we can keep moving forward with the direction of getting
Yeah,
donations
very nice.
when people are here, because they do ask, and it's nice that we'll have. So I'm gonna put it right back in here for now.
And does the Callahan House guest list go into some kind of nice book? I mean, is this in a
See,
book
that's
or something?
what I was
With
gonna
the
ask.
size?
I think it's rough
She said
to have.
clipboard, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I
you.
could-
Start there and then decide what's in there.
It'd be nice if it was in a book and then we're not losing names.
Yes. Well,
And if
what are you
it's
saying? Let's get
nice
something
for
bigger.
a
And I'm like, oh,
building
let me
like
look for
this.
something bigger.
Something a little more
An old guest book.
elegant.
Like an old guest book.
Yeah.
Those are hard.
Yeah. And that was like, oh, we could find one in size.
Okay, but, my brother-in-law just passed away a week ago, and I know that I was, looking really hard for a guest book, and they're hard to come up with. So, that aren't wedding oriented.
Right.
Do we want, if people look around and take a picture of something you see, and maybe at the next meeting, we can compare
Yeah.
notes and decide which one we want to go? Because Amazon might have some, or some of the Michaels or something might have, I don't know, anywhere you look. Amazon is
Not a
usually
big
my
deal.
go-to.
We'll figure it out.
That's where I ordered
Yeah.
some. Yeah.
Sort of my
it's-
go-to
It's
place
like,
anymore.
charity boxes and then.
So yeah, keep your eyes out and take a picture of one.
Book tree, that's a good thing.
I hadn't thought about it.
Never know what you're gonna find.
But if we could find one that we could add paper and remove papers from.
Yeah.
It has to be.
So maybe if somebody had in their possession like an old really antique photo album that they didn't really want the
Yeah.
insides, that they just want, but like I have one, but I kind of want what's inside of
Do you
it.
guys, are you
Yeah.
guys familiar with, well, this is a proprietary, it's like Levenger, but the idea is, something that's not scribbled on, but it would be it'd be
That's
something like
exactly
this.
like that.
Yeah.
And then you just take it out,
Oh,
and you're
okay.
done, and you can put more.
I like that.
I like
Yeah.
that
in.
idea.
That's a good, okay, that could be a requirement.
But then that could make it easier for,
To add pages and take pages out.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so,
That's
Does that have a name, does that have a type, a style type that
And
defines
does it hold a pen too?
it can, it's a Levenger.
Oh.
I don't get
Beautiful.
kickbacks, but I do like these.
Everybody in the office now has it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's that called? Where
There's
Those
that
are
distance.
perfect.
That's great.
Levenger is
It's
the
really
time, well, that's the brand.
I just
Right.
got the style here, it's not
It's
like,
not
yeah.
as three ringy, right? The-
yeah.
It's
Bit low
like
rise.
that concept.
Okay.
It's not so
Oh.
And they just came, I just got 30% off, this month, so,
That's nice.
yeah, I was gonna buy some furries.
Yeah, we're gonna have to budget request
I'll just
for
Google them.
shows in the city for sure.
Yeah.
These are
They're
perfect.
really nice.
But you can also buy similar things at Staples and at Office Max.
Right.
It's just that, it's the disc format
Yeah.
concept.
This is perfect. though. This is exactly what we need.
We have the punch in the office.
Right, exactly.
That's all the
Okay.
punches.
Okay, so we could then print it and you got the punches and.
Yeah.
Thank you, Simone. That's great.
You're welcome to keep that one.
Do you mind?
No, please do.
I know people that need it.
Oh, you
And it's not.
And I won't like ones. I think I need 3 more at this
Right.
point.
I'll talk to you.
Okay.
And then I need somebody to go through all my stuff.
Okay, so I think we've covered the annual report and a few other things, that's okay, we're sneaking more stuff in. April 26th open house, we've talked about that. The tea, usually in May, we have a tea for new and old informers, maybe not old, new and former board members. this year, again, I'm gonna just throw it out there with the changes and do we feel able to have that, or should we postpone it for a few months until things settle? I mean, that one's kind of labor intensive on the house manager.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, actually. The first one we did was a bit more simple and can be.
Okay. I'm throwing it out there for talk, discussion.
Can you, my recommendation would be that let's talk about this in depth next month. We can put that together in a month, I think, and do that. I think we should be trying to do it, but let's see where we're at. We've got Jacqueline and Betsy are great and totally capable of doing some stuff on this. So.
Jacqueline pretty much did it. We did the invitations and everything. I don't think it should be an issue.
It's not a large production.
I agree.
It's really.
And we know numbers in advance. It's not like we're doing, having a live jazz band or
We're not?
doing cartwheels or anything like that.
Can you
So
just fill in a newcomer like me?
What it
You
is?
might have explained this, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
What it
What
is?
it is in usually May.
yes, it's me.
Yeah, we have it's a brunch. It's on a Sunday, and we have a brunch, and then all the current members and former members that you guys can find, are invited. Yeah, so it's a pleasant afternoon, about 2 hours.
It's just a tea.
There's snacks. It's not brunch. It's a tea, which is.
We have some finger food, nothing
Yes.
elaborate,
Yeah.
tea, and then we just visit with all the past board members. And
And
acknowledge that.
the mayor was invited.
Yeah, city
Yes.
council.
And
All
city
the
council
council
invited.
members.
Yeah, so we try to, it helps us to get some visibility.
Is there a tentative date that you used in the past for that event?
Wasn't it like the
Not a
first Sunday
tentative
in
date, but May 1st was last year, and the year
That's a
prior
Monday.
was, I think it was April.
Wasn't it always on a Sunday?
We always do it on a
It was
Sunday,
a Sunday.
so it doesn't impose on any other functions that we could be having.
And there's no football.
Right.
So we did it last year, is that right?
Yes.
I'm wondering if just throwing this out, if it would get old if we did it every year.
And
And whether it would be good to wait until some of the renovations were done, and then make it a bigger deal. And then the pictures and things that we're putting upstairs until those are completed.
board member.
I like that.
Or the-
I like that.
The house manager.
Yes,
Because we're kind of in limbo at the moment.
we are.
So maybe it would be better to skip the year and then next year we do it upright and we have all these other things to show off.
Some things to show off.
That's
I like
a
that.
good point
It
too,
doesn't-
so I want to bring that up.
I like that.
Actually, we don't necessarily have to skip the year because we don't have to have it in the spring. It was only last year that we had it May 1st. The prior time that we did this was November 3rd, 2019.
Yeah, but
And
it could
so
be a
we
different
could
date.
do a fall date.
Yeah.
And by that time, by in November somewhere, we'll be moving on. So I think it's worth looking at doing in the fall and potentially in November.
So maybe you have time to think about whether to actually do it based on how the renovations.
Right, exactly.
are
Yes,
going.
and as things are coming along, we'll know, are we well enough along that we can do this and be able to present.
Well, I think that I like the idea of making sure that it's an annual fee, that's what we do, the annual board fee. Whether we move it to November or not, I think it's fine. I think the reason why we considered moving it to the spring is because the gardens look better.
Sure.
But that being said,
We never went out there.
It doesn't, we didn't go out there, but, so it doesn't have to
so
be.
the date can be
Yeah, it can be a fall date.
I think we should table that.
For,
For
Or
fall.
put it into future agenda items
yeah.
perhaps.
And we also want to pick a date that we are not interfering with the revenue.
Right.
Exactly.
I do like the idea of keeping it on the Sundays, so
Sundays.
we're not impeding
And
on
we'll have
anything.
that new person in place and
Yeah.
all settled at that
Yeah.
point, which will be really nice for them too.
Right.
So we'll look at
And
a
an introduction.
future fall event. We can do anything from September, October, November.
Okay, so I'll make a motion. I move that we table this, the tea discussion and put it into future agenda items.
Nice to send.
Beautiful.
All in favor?
Yes. All okay. Oh, just on a note, so that we know about when to be putting it on the agenda. I think talking about it in June would be a good choice because while it doesn't take much to put together the labels and or to to write out the envelopes but it would be best, and this was feedback from prior board members, if we could give them more notice. We gave them, I think, a month's notice for the May, and several ladies who called and had talked with me and said, I really would love to be there, but I have another, and if I'd only known, I would have saved that date. And so I think giving people more notice is going to be important.
We should know, God willing, we will know exactly kind of what our timeline should be at that point.
Yeah.
So we're looking at discussing that in the June.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I guess, let's see, I'm trying to follow this right. I believe our next is new business. And looks like we've already touched on it, but Ben, any more on the oven?
Yeah, so oven was it was being stored by Golden Van Lines. It was delivered yesterday. They could not get it through the door. It would be close when we took the door off, but the screws were clearly stripped. So we chose not to do that. Is in the auto house, and my plan is to get a Columbine or a company like that to take the oven apart a little bit, which it sounds grandiose, but I think it's just taking this front piece off where the boards are, setting it on top, and it should give us enough room to get through both doors. That's my thought, and so hopefully that will happen soon. And
I've learned a whole lot about the alarm panel here at Callahan House.
Sounds interesting.
It was.
It was snowing, and I was almost 11 at that point.
Painful. So the alarm panel kind of went defunct. Okay, they don't do it this way that we have at Callahan House. They stopped doing it that way in 2012. What it is the alarm panel and the fire are combined, and fire and safety will take precedence over destruction of property, I guess. So the way that it is recommended, beginning in 2013, is to have two separate systems, so that they don't overwrite each other. They are independently communicating to the appropriate personnel to respond. Okay. With the historic house and additional electrical work, I now know why people didn't do it. They're like, this works. But we do have a request into facilities with the support of the alarm company that we contract with to look at modernizing and updating that situation. But it's not a happening next week thing, and we'll keep you guys apprised of that.
So can summarize, so the fire alarm and any other alarm are
fire and burglary are on the same thing. So
they can override each other.
So what I mean by override is like if we have a burglary alarm, but they start a fire, they're
we want them both.
Well, we want them both, but the fire folks are going to come first
instead of the police.
You're right, because they prioritize based on safety, not necessarily what's happening, because it's just an alarm. It doesn't diagnose things. You might have the wrong people coming to the wrong party, I guess.
So the firemen and then the police? No. I mean, or just firemen, period. If both are happening.
The fire would be dispatched first. And so the fire people will be here, and if there's a police burglary thing happening, you probably want the police here first, like independently.
They could be walking in a bad situation.
But the way it is now,
it's combined.
Yeah.
So they both come.
But they don't both come. It overrides it so that.
Well, right now it says.
They'll probably both come.
Right. Yeah. Well, right now it says it's a alarm code, like for the door. They're not going to send the fire for the alarm code because it says what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the alarm code is triggered, and they do that, and then something starts that would trigger the fire thing. It just makes, it's just a little muddled.
Yeah.
And if one is broken, they're both broken.
Oh, yeah. Good
You
point.
know, this way they can operate independently.
So you need to do that before you get the new range.
No.
It has nothing to do with the new range.
Okay,
It's
totally
just
separate things.
it's
Okay.
just an updating of an existing system so that if one system is down, the other one is fully operational instead of.
Could you
It's
give
all or
us
none.
just a little update? I have very little information on what we have, the burglar alarm and the fire alarm. Are they like each room wired? How are we set up here? So it would catch a burglar.
They're motion censored. A lot of things are motion censored. Doors being opened.
So the windows, are the windows alarmed?
Once they are interior.
Okay.
Yeah, once they're interior, the movement. So if they, for example, if this somebody came and this curtain moves, it's going to set that.
The
off.
motion, okay, so I see how.
Yeah.
So did each room have a motion or just
Mhm.
certain
I think
rooms?
so.
And then the fire is your typical
Smoke alarm.
smoke alarms and things
There's
like
no
that.
sprinkler, I can tell. I haven't seen
No,
it.
there is no
No,
sprinkler
it's
involved
not.
in it.
And that would be kind of, that would be, that's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Turn the
the
house
other
down,
thing.
start over.
Yeah, and the motion detectors are very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
Very sensitive.
So now when somebody comes, when Jacqueline or Betsy come to, set up for a meeting, they flick it off. They
They have a
to turn it off.
specific
Okay.
code that will disarm. They have a specific code that will arm. Facilities has their own unique
So,
code that
You
arms
know
them.
who's in there.
You know, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So if somebody had a key, but, maybe just came in here and picked something up.
It would set up
It would
alarms.
set up alarm, okay.
Unless they have a code, and those codes change on a frequent basis. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
So who actually has access to get into the house? I remember way, way, way back when I first was on the board as chairman, I had keys.
right now it's the facilities maintenance. They'll do walkthroughs on a regular basis, especially when the weather's really cold. To make sure that the building is doing well and the pipes are doing well. So they have access. Our custodial crew has access that does the cleaning in here. Betsy and Jacqueline as staff members that work here have codes. I have codes and vendors.
Police will be able to.
Police and fire have,
Right.
yes,
There's, I would imagine there's a firebox on the front of the building
with the
somewhere.
keys, yeah.
That's the standard, that's city standard. So the fire department will go into there and open up.
Instead of breaking doors.
Hopefully.
That'd be their MO, because it's usually not fire, it's something else.
Right.
Have we had any calls? I don't think, I'm not aware of any, besides you. There hasn't been any real criminal activity.
Not appropriate ones.
But with all the stuff that's happened at the museum and at the church over here, the vandalism to the windows and stuff at the little white church on
Oh,
St.
yeah.
Stephen's.
Yeah.
St. Stephen's, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, they've gratefully overlooked this building.
That's
Yes.
nice, yes. Okay. Well, any other comments on that? Moving along then, Ben, you're kind of running this meeting today. Curbing project?
I was gone, so I'm paying the price.
Yep.
Yeah, you are.
So here's an interesting one. The curbing, the actual curbing onto the street on both sides appears to be the same pour as the driveway.
Oh, goodness.
You can look at it, and there's a line in it that reflects, and it's the same
pour.
color, so it's the same pour as
The original.
the original. So
Wow.
they are this year going to do work. Where am I sitting?
The
On
city is-
Third, the city. Ariel is her first name. Her last name. As a part of a continuous city plan where they replace curbing, they update, they fix edges of road. I know they were planning on coming to my house next year, but they're actually coming this year because I granted for them. And so the question is basically, what is actually, is a curb historic? Is a curb to a city street historic? That's really what it comes down to.
My goodness.
And so I will tell you that it's clear that the last time they paved, And the last time they did this, when you go past the house, you can see the more traditional where you get the curb and then the gutter is also concrete. They didn't do that around the house last time. So that's kind of, it's really, I'm looking for what your guys' opinion on the curbing itself. I'm not talking about the driveway.
Just the curb.
The curbing itself.
I'd like the curb to stay. I'd
If
like it to
it's-
stay.
I haven't
It's
looked at it closely. Is it,
Original as it is.
what condition is it in?
You see it out the
Not
window?
terrible.
I
It's
take a
not.
walk
I
out
mean,
there and take
it's-
a look at it.
It's,
Then,
and if you guys have feedback, I mean, you can just send me an email.
okay.
My general opinion is leave it alone.
Yes.
That's my general opinion. It's not crumbling and cracked up. It
Right.
certainly has cracks. It certainly has a few breaks. Clearly where the driveway is, there's work, but that's actually, that section actually right on Third is one of the targeted sections for this project. So if that's your guys' general opinion right now, then that's what I
would
will
like
take.
to, maybe when it's nice, I'll
Yeah.
take a walk out there.
Right.
Okay. And I'll walk out there.
And if
It's actually in nicer condition than the up front.
Yeah. and they'll come around to this one too, but and the city at some they may override that. I don't know. I mean, they could, but
Yeah.
I know.
I also have a request in the historic board. They talked about it and wanted your opinion.
I was gonna say, when we were working on the grant, I don't know if you remember, but I contacted that city in Iowa, and they have the oldest street in the United States, and
Oh,
and it's
wow.
cement. And I was asking them how they preserved it, but anyway, they were gonna tear it up, basically, and then somehow word got out that it was over 100 years old, and there was enough feedback that they chose to save it. And it's very popular because they advertise it now as the oldest street, or we could actually do that. So the
Yeah.
oldest
Curb in the city.
Yeah.
Oldest curb in the city.
It turned into
A thing.
yeah, thing.
Yes.
I don't know how to. And so
Yes.
there's something to think of there, because little by little there won't be any of these regular things anymore.
Yeah.
We need to save the curb.
Yeah, we could have a
It sounds
protest.
silly in its way, but it
It's
is.
real.
It is a part of it.
It's
Yeah.
real.
I do have a question. It doesn't have any drainage problems, does it?
I have no idea.
We have-
I have no idea.
It's a good thing to know.
Because if it has no drainage issues and it's not,
You know, it's
affecting
southern
it
facing. Unfortunately, like the driveway on the north has the water collection, but the curb is southern facing.
So
The
it
sun
should be.
catches that. It's probably why that's in as great a condition as it
It is in
considering
pretty
that
good
the curbs on the property.
So I guess what I would ask is for if the group wants to put a motion forth that we support leaving the curb in place as a historic item, something along those lines.
I move that we do so.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I knew that would be your answer.
Thank you.
That
So-
gives me the
It's
my,
more
my
official.
backing.
Yeah.
My backing as I go to them and
Yes,
say,
support, right.
you're gonna have
We
to
could
do
have,
something a little different here.
Stickers made preserve the curb.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chain yourself out to the curb.
I'm not sure how
Lie
to
down on
change
the
something.
We might damage the curb.
Sit in on the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah, arms linked on the curb. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ben.
Appreciate that. Like I said, I knew that's what the answer would be. And,
Yeah.
I don't see it as being that bad. Now, if it's falling apart,
Yeah, that's different.
you gotta have a different thought, but it's
Yeah.
right now, it's not.
Yeah, and if it gets where it's crumbling, maybe we could find a section of it that's real good and save
Well,
the pattern, but that's
After our whole process this year, then I think we look at targeting, the next process.
Yeah.
So,
One thing the gentleman in Iowa told me though is that they did an analysis on the concrete, and it was much harder than current concrete.
Oh, yeah.
They-
Wow.
It's a
No
different
doubt.
composition.
Completely different, so I had asked him if he could send me that, but then I kind of didn't go forward with it because we decided to go with whatever we're gonna do here, the contractor.
you should see the wood in my house that's being remodeled from 1960. oh, it's just awesome. That wood is.
2x4s, really 2x4s.
Oh,
Wow.
and 2x4s, they were square and they are like concrete. I mean, they are so hard. Plus,
Wow.
now it's just the stuff you get from Home Depot.
Yeah,
It's
soft.
Yeah,
just
which
soft
is-
and-
3.5 inch
Fine,
2x4s.
Did
Yeah.
everything to get a decent.
It just shows
They don't build
the
things like
quality of work that went into
It was
things.
to
and
stay
Yeah,
and
we
not
meant
be
to build them
replaced.
for a while. Yeah. All right, well, that was all good input. I think our next one is item 8, future agenda. I'm not skipping any.
No, you're not.
Okay, future agenda items. Picture project. That was fun. I think we all were there. It was fun.
Yeah,
How was it?
yes. So, well, what I learned is to do a 5x7 mat to include the cutout for the photo and the cutout for the name and date of service and photo courtesy. It's going to be more cost effective to go through Hobby Lobby than Michael's because at Hobby Lobby they'll charge $10 to cut a custom frame for me, just total. Michael's, they'll charge me $10 for the 5x7 frame and then $5 per cut. And so,
Mounts up.
that's why I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably going to go to Hobby Lobby to do this.
There's a
By
shop
the
on
way,
Main Street though that does framing too. Have you checked
yes,
with
I
them? That's
do
pricey.
know about them and they do tend to be more pricey.
We had a picture done with them. She
And
did a
I
nice
love
job.
their work. They
Yeah.
really are, but I do know that it'll be
Okay.
more pricey. And we never discussed a budget, but I want you to understand something that this was my idea and my push. And so I purchased the frames that we. I mean, what was beautiful is Candy brought a frame that is going to be perfect for the first 3 that we don't have photos of. Cindy brought a couple of frames that are perfect for 2 that we don't have photos for, and Brittany brought a frame that is perfect for most recent. And the rest of them I went and purchased from Hobby Lobby. This is my gift to the house. The paying for the photos to be printed by Mike's camera, the purchase of those frames, the purchase of the mats that go, the boards that go inside the frames, and that's all my cost because it's my gift to the house. It's what I wanted us to do for the history of the house. So please don't think that this is anything to do with the Callahan House fund or budget.
That being said, I think this is incredibly generous. I still think the amounts in total should be submitted as a gift, so we have that this is things that have been donated to the house, so we have that for our records for grant purposes and other things that we have that's submitted in, that you have done these gifts, and that means each frame that yours and Candy's and everybody
Brittany's.
else,
Oh,
Brittany's, everything. Just
It was
so we
mine
know.
was a
We all
thrift store
collected.
thing or something.
But
But
it's
still,
yes.
it's
great.
we
We
bought
scratched
them
the price tag
up.
off.
They were
Right.
beautiful. They are perfect for, and so I think it's just a beautiful
But all those
working,
little,
group effort.
personally, I don't think it's that much, but it does all add up. When you're writing a grant and you're trying to figure out who's donated what, it's the little things that add up.
I think overall, the hanging system itself will be less than the photos and the frames and the
Right.
boards, which is fine. But I'm excited about the fact that we're going to be able to get this done, and it will be something that
So our big thing is we need to have somebody hang the hangings.
That was going to be a good question.
Yes.
Yes.
So the last meeting, the question was, can we get it hung by our next meeting, which would have been February?
We need
But
facilities.
we'll need some help with that. And in that, I would urge and suggest actually that when that's going to occur, Maureen should probably be present for that because she understands how the hanging system will need some spacers placed off of the wall to hold it out just beyond
So it's not dragging on the
the
wood.
current historic wooden hanging rail. So
It's my understanding that
something
the
that I
system
think-
was sitting on the back porch. I don't know
It's-
where it's.
Okay. So,
I can't make any promises on timeline for that. For
That's
sure.
okay,
Right
yeah.
now.
That's
But
okay.
but yeah, I know it's there, and we'll, I think having you present, or at least one of you guys present, is
Or
Put that up would be totally.
I don't care if
appropriate.
it's somebody else is here.
No, I'm picking
personally.
you.
You
I think
understand.
you
I'm
guys
picking
are
you.
planning systems.
You're picking me. Yeah, I am roped in whether I want to be or not. So the thing is, I know you've got a lot on your plate, but if we could maybe ask people, everybody's got a ton on their plate. I understand.
Yeah, the unique things with them can be a challenge to get done. I will just say that. I'm not saying it's not doable. I think it is. Just
Be aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I jump back to the keeping records of the donations? Do we have anything set up to do that? Is there any way we could add it to a spreadsheet or something?
an in-kind donation thing, posted dollars.
Because it would have to be a,
A line on, a donation line somewhere.
There is a donation line,
something easily to get it, because we probably won't do another grant for a couple of years.
Right.
And so we had to be
I
something
don't know
that,
about that.
well, unless Karen.
I don't know about that.
You had so much fun with the last one.
Yeah.
But anyway, it may be a couple of years before we apply for another one, so it'd be somewhere we can grab that information. I don't know. If it would be on the yearly report or.
Wouldn't monetary donations that have already been submitted
There are
be somewhere?
Monetary.
Donations
Oh,
are,
but not our kind.
So then in
Okay.
kind would be.
It would be
another
going
one.
forward
but we
because.
can include it in, I guess when we are reporting that, those in-kind donations can come two ways, from internally among us, and then also externally in the general public, and whichever way the information is shared, it's either, if it's from the general public, it probably would be on a manager's report. And if it's internal, then it would be coming from us during the board meeting, and then we would need to include that in what the annual report to city council would be.
There's gotta be something, because I know the ladies have donated china and other items.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we should have an accounting of that,
Right.
on what those items are. And we should have an accounting of like the donation box that you just did and all of that. We should have a way to track it somewhere.
Well, the best source of that information that I know of right now is the scrapbooks, because there are notes in there and pages in there showing past is what I'm
Right.
trying to get at, but going forward. I
Going
know what
forward,
you're
I
saying.
think.
But
Somebody's at
so
the
we
door.
can go through and
That was the doorbell.
past, we can identify
um,
past in-kind donations. And that way, if we want to have a running list, then we can do that. But then going forward, I
Going
guess
forward, I'm
establishing
thinking on the monthly report that we normally get, and then that would be compiled into the year end. So we have an easy way to grab it.
Right.
That's a thought, you know, is that something we can just peruse, or do we need to talk?
I might suggest, if it's not too much to ask, the secretary and the historian, I guess we can together create a list, and then that list or that document would be shared with Sue Ellen and on the drive.
Create a list of
In-kind donations.
Going
By
forward,
going
Going
forward. Going forward.
not past, going forward.
Yeah.
Because it's my understanding, that was all kept track when the board used to do inventory. And board hasn't done an inventory for years. So I don't know.
Well, Kathy's done inventory though.
Kathy and Jacqueline have, yeah.
But Karen, you said even the scrapbooks might have information
Yes, I
about
know.
donations.
Yes, I do know that the scrapbooks contain pages where in there they have the information of this person donated, and one was specifically the tea set, for example. Others were teacups. That others were other items throughout the house that have been donated, and so I can go back through them and create a historic list
That would be
of
great.
in-kind donations.
How
that
far
have
back
been
do the scrapbooks go?
1938.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. Quite a project there.
I'm wondering if you might not have to do that, go completely clear back, because like I said, the board members used to do inventory. There's gotta be an inventory list somewhere.
well, while the
You can start
inventory list exists, it is not all, it does, I know that historic inventory lists that are also in the scrapbook do list the items, but they do not identify on that inventory that donated by.
Oh, okay. Okay, I apologize.
It's not-
I
it's
know
But
enough to get me in
it's
trouble.
doable, I can do this. It's
So-
doable.
Do we wanna have this more organized going forward though?
Yes.
Yes.
So do we need a motion or do we need to discuss it more and decide how we, like maybe give this to a group to decide how it should look going forward?
Would it be an agenda item that someone presents the receipts for the board to acknowledge the receipt of a donation, of an in-kind donation, then everybody would be aware of that donation, dollar value or
And
whatever.
then get it slapped on a spreadsheet somewhere, so
Well,
that
it's gonna be in the minutes if you do it that way too.
Yeah.
I
It's
think that's,
documented.
I like the way Sue Ellen presented it, and then it's there, and then hopefully it'll get in.
Well,
My question is, because we don't know what the books look like, and I know that you're buried too, as you dig, I'm sure there's gotta be a line item
I'm gonna
somewhere.
look.
okay.
I'll put these on.
And then,
No.
but is it possible to create a spreadsheet
It might exist.
wherein, and the secretary maintains that in the shared drive, but the secretary, because if things are brought into the meeting and it's included in minutes, then the secretary can then add that to that list. It's kind of, it's
I don't
a
know if the
keeper of records.
secretary or the house manager, that's.
The secretary is kind of the keeper
House
of
manager
records,
should keep
of board-related records.
Because some donations may come in just when the, when
we're
we're
not
not
here.
here.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly,
So
so
I'm
those
thinking
kind
the
of,
That we're
house
not even
manager
aware of.
would be out to.
I
it
would-
would, it would basically be not income, but revenue or something
Yeah,
like
so I'm
that,
just
so.
thinking the house manager would keep that spreadsheet.
And that,
Yeah, I
and
like that
then,
better,
and
too.
then it's just submitted on the house manager.
It's it,
report.
Right.
that's what I was thinking, that way it'd be easy to get.
okay.
So would there be an opportunity to give a dollar value to each of these in-kind items? It seems like there ought to be. Did you say, you keep talking about grants, is that one of the things that you do in a grant is indicate how much has been donated?
There was a question on there.
Okay,
What kind of community support are you receiving?
okay,
So
yeah.
it's nice to be able to
Really
show that.
good to
explaining.
not only have it,
Yes, explaining what the support was and then the value to
Yes.
it was part of it.
Okay, so
I don't know that you need a motion for that, that's.
I think we can just.
just,
It's part of this.
just tell the new house manager.
I think it's something that if you guys gather up what you know of right now, and we can just get it to us, and we'll get something started, and then we would put that on, because I don't, that would be like, I think it's a definition of house manager stuff. That's house business.
Right,
It's
right.
And
stuff that's
the
donated,
bottom
it's
line
their
is,
business.
we don't know if it doesn't already exist.
Yeah, it might already exist, but it would be very good for us to be able to access it, in 2 years from now, we wanna see,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
the last 5
Yeah,
years
it's
or.
a really good idea.
Yeah, and then we can just pull it.
We don't have to go dig through
That's
books.
right.
Exactly.
Looking back through all the minutes like I did.
Yeah.
Try to make it
Okay.
easier.
So, yeah, as long as we can start it on a spreadsheet,
Yes.
There's one of my Chico.
There.
I was gonna say,
Exactly.
what an interesting thing to learn about, who, well, maybe not so much who, but what they donated way back
Yes.
when.
Came from,
Yeah.
it's history.
Wow.
Yeah, because you gotta figure when the Callahans left, they left some furniture here,
Yeah.
but most of this, a lot of this was donated. I mean, this was
Wow.
original, and I know those sofas, those burgundy sofa, and the chairs, but
Those,
there was other things
So-
that were donated.
What was the process for accepting donations, verifying, the time period and?
It's a
Or
good
they
question.
just
That's
said,
an excellent
"This was another
question.
excellent
Let's have it.
question."
in the scrapbooks, it's just the board members were just
Okay.
taking that information in, because up till 1995, it was the board of directors, and they ran the house. But up to that point, and so that's why a lot of it is in the scrapbooks, because that's how they documented and showed, receipt of gifts.
For the new members, I don't know how much history you got, but the house manager used to be more of a housekeeper. And she was just part-time, and she lived here if she wanted to.
Right.
And she was only paid a stipend, she didn't have a good salary.
Yeah.
She actually made money off the meetings by catering them herself.
Right.
So it was different.
Wow.
But, you know, progress.
Right.
Bigger venue now, can't do that. So, all right, so the pictures, we talked about that, past and
Oh, I'm
present.
sorry. For the picture project, I was wondering where we're at with Sylvia. I was gonna.
Oh,
Or we can
yes.
talk. I was gonna call and then Katie provided a number via your sister, I think. And I was about to call and then I was looking at the time for the ages. It said that she would be 47. I was like, oh, so she was like 19 when she was her manager. Maybe not. Not that it's
Yeah.
impossible, but
That doesn't seem reasonable.
Paula was young, Paula was in her 20s when she was young.
okay. So
So it's
yeah, not
possible.
impossible, but
It
she
is
would have been
possible.
19 or 20. So
I haven't
don't know
followed
if I
up
should-
on it.
Okay. I mean, I can also just call and.
It's a
listen
strong
to
number.
this. Yeah. Or she could be related person potentially. Who knows? But
I wanna give
I'll
some
just give her a
kudos
call.
to.
Yeah, I wanted to, let me know, and then I'll try the other, the teacher
okay.
that I know that has the same last name.
Okay.
I want to give kudos to our detective force that is
Right.
helping us
Yes.
discover.
Yeah. Dog the bounty hunter.
Yeah, dog the bounty
On
hunter.
a
Okay.
special note, thanks to your sisters, you found Paula. Unfortunately, Paula had passed away.
Yeah.
So it made me really sad. But it's amazing. She found her, and
Yeah.
you know, I was like, because she had remarried again, and so her name
so
had
they
changed. So,
She had a more recent picture.
yeah, a much more recent
So-
picture.
Oh,
That's great.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
It was
that's
sad.
So
Sorry you
is
missed
that-
I know, by 2 years.
I'm so sad to hear that.
So is that going to be included then, the picture?
Well, I think that's.
I think the picture of Paula as we chose it is
Right.
Yeah, she
perfect
worked.
for that.
Oh,
when
that's
she
when you
worked.
were-
Yeah.
She was,
okay.
yes,
The
we
one-
had that
yeah.
one.
Right.
Because it shows her actually at that buffet.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
that
that's a
right.
beautiful
So,
one.
which, yeah, so.
The only thing is, I know she gave that long hair, because I remember when she got it
She
cut.
looked beautiful.
I know, but she was so happy when her hair was showing. Anyway, all right, so we've talked about past and present member pictures. Yeah,
Just briefly, well, we talked about the house manager picture project.
Yeah.
And now we're on the past and present board members, wall
Wall,
acknowledgement.
okay, this is a
And so-
picture project.
And if this is one thing, I printed these out so that you can see kind of what they're gonna look like. And I know that there are 4, bear with me here. And I think in part, I can bring it back down to 3, but I think I need to get a legal size with just the red border, Sue Ellen. So I don't know how to get that. So if you can maybe help me with getting just, because that's the image with what was the Tom Callahan's stationery. So I start with that, and then I begin with the most current board members' years. And again, remember we said let's set them out by decade, which actually turned out to be ideal. And then I went from 2010s to 2000s to and then down to 1990s. But I know that I can get more on a page when I'll be able to have a whole full blank with just the red border, legal size. And then I put the gate on the top, so it'll be kind of more in line with across the way where the image of the house or the image of the garden is, and kept with that from one page to the next, except for the last page, which has the very first board members, the earliest board members on it. And that's where I include the beautiful quotes from ladies about volunteerism.
And where would this go? What would this be?
This will be placed in it's going to be a probably custom frame, so that it can hold legal size pages 3 to maybe 4, but could easily be taken off the wall as needed and take them back out and update the list and print them out and place them in the frame and back up on the wall again.
And I know I didn't anticipate it being that big.
There are 90 women, 90
We wanted to vote.
through the years.
We could take
And
the gate off.
Well, I'm thinking,
I think what's pretty about
It
I think
is.
what's pretty about the gate is that it ties in, and like again, this is imagine this being more in line with that. I will definitely be able to fill a lot more on on the second half of this.
I think you're correct. I think
And
we can get
if you
it
bring
down,
to probably
get it
3
down
pages.
to 3 pages.
Yeah.
And then once it's at
But I
3
just wanted you to
pages
see the
visually, if you look at it,
It will then eventually, I mean, essentially look
look like
a
that.
little more like,
I think it's good.
which is pretty because it has the garden,
But
the gate,
but
and some
the
photos
line
of
would
pictures.
be
But it's
all-
all gonna be.
So each of these would be framed? Or-
No,
it
it'd
would
be
all be
one
in one
frame.
frame.
In one
You
frame?
know, different openings for each page, but easy to interchange and change out.
I think this page has too much white space. I can agree with Karen that I like the gate, but I don't think I need it.
I like it, but maybe we can make it smaller and put it in the
Either
corner.
that or
I
put
don't
the
know.
picture
It's
on
too
the.
much.
Only reason I did that was to
Yeah.
fill the space because then that kind of kept it
I see. Right.
across the
Yeah.
board.
across, you know, when you're looking at something that's in a frame and it's all gonna be kind of in line with.
Okay, but that being said, yeah.
So you'll see, then you kind of see there's this common theme.
But you're
that
gonna
goes
have
across
to
the
reframe
top.
it in a few years as, I don't know,
No.
this is, I was thinking more like a really long paper. but-
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I personally like it. I think I agree with Karen that we could bring the gate smaller.
smaller.
And long as the framing of the red line is consistent with the other, again, we're talking, we're gonna mat it as well. I think this is good, and what it does is it enables us to, we can add more names as need be.
Yeah.
We can change it out. It isn't like we're doing plaques, like we suggested, because that just
It's gonna
takes
be
way
easy
too many space. And if we do it in it's open to change. I think it's great.
And what's interesting too, and it kind of notes the history, if you look at it more closely, you'll see where there are decades where I have a Mrs. W.Y. Atkinson, for example, and then pension. In those times, the women were referred to as their husband's wife in the stove. So the change really occurred in the 70s. So it went all the way up through the 60s and then the 70s. That change occurred. So I think it's good
I also
to
like
keep
the
that
volunteer
on as far
some
as-
quotes. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, they're special. Even,
I
take a
think
read
the
of
quotes
those.
are unique, but what do you think, Ian?
And it can be reconfigured so there's less white space.
I don't know that I had a vision in my head to start with.
Right.
But
And this
I was thinking just a long list.
I assumed it would be something we can adjust more easily, but I don't know what that is. I don't have that entered.
And I'm afraid if you make an expensive
to
a big
redo
frame
all of
like
it.
that, yeah, see, this is,
Every time.
it's hard to adjust and hard
Well,
to-
here's a thought. What if we took the quotes and put the quotes up top of the volunteerism, and then we
Can I see that?
work with that, and then would that make
Let
it?
me reconfigure a little bit more because I think because of the trickiness of I only had I had this in the legal and Kathleen was sending me the legal, so if you maybe could send me those. But I could use a legal size just bordered page so that, and once I reconfigure it, I think you all will like it, and it will be very simple to update.
And that's the key.
In pages where there's two
This
columns,
is easy to
it's easy to
update
make two
compared
columns
to a
and,
plaque.
Oh, yeah, compared to
You
last.
Literally,
question.
you open up the back,
Yeah.
you change it out.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
it's not.
But when you add to this one, the names go down until they go on to that one, and then you end up changing all of them, is my
Yeah.
point.
But they're
It's
in
easy.
columns.
Yes. It's
It
not hard
is
to
easy,
do.
because when you go in and start to add to
The
the
format
top,
is
the
there.
formatting pushes to
That's
the
the point.
next
And
column.
honestly, once the format's saved,
So it's-
Yeah.
It'll be
easy
done.
peasy.
Where does this document live then, so people can access it, down the road to update
Within the
it?
It would
city,
be, yeah.
it would be in the city new cloud system.
Yay.
Yay.
But will these be framed, matted, or?
I think
I don't
in
know about
one
matted.
frame.
I
think
definitely
we
know,
can matted.
I definitely know framed. I don't know about matted because that would make it a little more complicated with changing out. So I'm thinking framed and properly placed. And there will be a nice background to
Okay,
it.
okay, I'm seeing it now.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's hard to envision this, but maybe what I could do is next time bring in, aside from just this example, I could, kind of make
And so we're only
mock-up.
changing out sheets.
Yeah.
I think, I like the picture, the original stationery.
Yeah.
I would kind of get rid of that gate. I just don't think it's just too much.
I think the gate is important, and the reason is because at a certain point in
We use it
history,
on everything.
the
Well, I know,
board
but it's just more
created-
space taken up. That's just my
It can be
opinion.
smaller.
I would think just this is plenty, and then from there it's just this.
When going from one page to the next, though, I was just trying to have something that would sort of connect the 3 pages together. One being the image of the garden, the other being the image of the gate that was created many years ago. And
I do like the image of the gate, but maybe it could be small.
it can be. I can make that smaller. It's easy. You take the image and you just shrink it down.
That's the best compromise, I think.
It's doable.
These are gonna be upstairs somewhere, not on the wall with the house manager
Right. No.
pictures, but
We're talking about the
It's a separate
different.
location where.
we were talking about maybe being able to see that
You might
space
put
after
the
the
gate with the quotes.
Yeah, because I have
On
to
the
take a
side
picture
with
for
the
Jan.
quotes coming
yes,
out
yes.
on the side of the gate. That way the
In
gate's
fact,
not
we could
sitting
do that
middle.
before we adjourn.
It takes
Or
up the
after
side
we
and
adjourn.
grabs
Either way,
attention to
either
the
way.
quotes.
Great.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
can look at, I can look at formatting that to try and see if that can work.
The quotes are all great, but I'm not sure you need that many.
The only reason I did leave them is because they were the ones that we kept in the place cards from the tea of last year. And they're special because they're all women, and with the exception of the author and then the last one. And these are all special women, so I think, Sherry Anderson, Margaret Mead, Elizabeth Andrew, Irma Mombeck, Anne Frank, and Maya Angelou.
I understand, they're your favorites.
I know, but they're special because they're women,
And speaking
and
that
speaking on volunteerism, and I do
International
think that
Women's
there's a
Day
lot to
today.
be said.
Right.
Yes.
It is international.
Could we have the quotes just in a separate frame?
I was
Not
just
part
thinking
of
that.
Yeah, because I think they
Because
take up
then
too much
it's-
space on there.
Well,
Or
and
maybe
then
they're
it drags
nice.
its own attention.
Yeah, just keep these as a separate,
Well, I can
With
put
the
this
gate.
separate. I don't want to keep it separate from the names and names.
But not in the
because it
same-
kind of it erases.
I think Karen's got a vision. Karen's paying for it, so Karen,
yeah.
go for it.
If I can work with it a little bit, I want to take all of your feedback and let me rework some things and see if you're happy with that, and then continue to rework until you're happy. But I think we can find something that's good.
That is a thought. What if we downsize this and put it next to?
That's what Ben
quotes?
was suggesting,
Yeah.
and so.
Did I mishear that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that
And
because
I
we're
think that's a
talking.
great suggestion, and so again, all of this input,
Yeah,
let me
it's
see
Good
what,
suggestion,
let
then.
me rework and see what I
I'm
can
sorry I didn't
do,
hear that.
because it's a great suggestion, and let me try and pull something else
Okay.
together and come up with an answer.
I'm gonna just suggest one thing, if there was a way to take, I don't know, if some of this background could be enlarged and continued, let's say just here, and then this being white over the trees, or I don't know, something so that, or maybe you just have the clouds. If you were in Photoshop and take something to get the clouds, put that over it, and then that takes that away. And then maybe you only have 3. Yeah, forget that idea. I'm just,
Well, I hear you.
it's complicated.
You gotta
There's a
brainstorm here.
Yeah.
That's what you do, yeah.
I personally
Kick it
think
around.
white lettering is really hard to read.
It uses a lot of ink having all that black background.
Well,
And a white would be hard because there's so much detail.
yeah,
And the point of that picture in its totality is that it
It's
was.
the-
It's historic, yeah, you wouldn't wanna do anything
So
to
we
take
don't want
parts
to crop
of
it or take or.
The picture I
Yeah, I
like.
think
The other keep it to I think are overkill.
we can, like Ben suggested, I think I'm gonna try and take this and put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
make
get
that a
it down.
separate page.
Yes.
I think it, honestly,
So it's a work in progress.
it's
I
a
just
work
wanted
in
to
progress and
share
thank you for
you,
all your time into
what it was
Yeah.
beginning to
Too
look
much is
like.
too much
Yeah.
fun. That's what
Oh,
you do.
this is fun, guys. This is fun. This is the fun part of stuff I have to do.
You don't know
doing
what
a
you're
lot
missing.
of great things.
I don't know what I'm missing.
As far as fun.
Oh,
I think it's cool.
No, it's
anyhow.
fun. You do a good job.
It's really nice,
It's-
Karen.
Thank goodness somebody does it.
Okay,
Preserving
that's great.
history for
Yes.
for the future.
Okay, I'm going to ask that we move club affair to next month.
Yeah.
There's a lot to discuss.
Future.
These are all for
Yeah,
future.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so let's
yeah.
just move it forward again another month. Review future house restoration and preservation. I think
Those are all to move forward.
It's all moving forward.
Move all of them, yeah.
So one thing I want to comment on, we're gonna add it to new business next time. The format of the agenda is clunky. Always has been to some extent. I'm gonna bring something that we use at Park and Rec Advisory Board that I think is a little more fluid, a little more functional. Don't have to do it, but I wanna bring it, I'm gonna put it as an item and send it out in the packet, and you guys can look at it. We can talk about feedback and then maybe make some adjustments. Just being at both now, the way that one is formatted, I think it just allows for a little more fluidity and flexibility than this one does. So,
One more future item, and I don't know if this should be on here or not, maybe it's just something the city wants to, is the gardens this year. As far as.
I will ad hoc give you a minor update. The flowers were ordered.
Okay.
Elise was involved last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very similar order. We did not get in touch with them fast enough, or there was some miscommunication as far as our involvement. We wanted to have a little more involvement than we did, but it just happened, and that's okay. That's okay.
So it's a surprise what we get, in other words.
Well, it's very similar to
similar
last year, so I'm sure they tried
Yeah,
to
but a
keep
little
it
bit of a
very
surprise.
close.
Like, oh, now we have begonias.
Yeah.
And I said my piece on that, so just so you guys
Is
know.
it too late then to put in any special requests?
It is. And
It's not too late to go to Flower Bend.
Well, let's go to.
Right, it's not.
And,
That's
you know,
right.
I find a way to get things done. If we can get something done, we will get it.
You
So I
mean
have a
like
question.
in-kind donations?
Yeah.
So for future reference, for us to know if we wanted to make any suggestions, that should be really done in January?
Yeah.
Yeah.
January,
Right.
or that should be put on the January
I would
agenda.
maybe even before
For
that,
flowers?
maybe even the fall, like at the
Fall.
end of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say, what do we want to do next year?
So,
It's something, it's a good idea.
okay,
It's a good idea.
so for suggestions,
So
fall.
let's see how we go.
fall.
I'm sure it will
You know,
look
Elise
gorgeous,
knows what
but
she's doing.
she
Right.
does.
So
Elise
there
is
will
very
be pretty
good.
flowers
Yes,
there.
I think
was
she's great.
Only a little disappointed last year with a few that we had requested that we didn't get.
Right.
And I'm hoping that as far as the things that we get are more stuff's in stock. I would hope this year as opposed to last year, but I don't know. We're working on it. Again, I know it will look beautiful, but addendums, new ideas for it, or things we might be able to do midstream, certainly we're up.
Okay.
So just a question, is some percentage perennials and then
Yes.
you get annuals each year?
There are, and it'd be really fun to take, right now there's nothing to see, but to see.
Later on.
There are good perennials, but there's areas where you want the burst of color that you get. with
Yes.
annuals.
Yeah.
So it's in the works.
And Anne has worked the gardens, so she knows
Yes.
what she's talking
It is
And
my
that-
first job.
Yeah, you need
That
to be the
actually
one to
was-
lead
it was
that
our
tour of
goal.
the garden.
That was our goal, was to get Ann involved, without Kathy being available, and we just missed the boat. And again, there was a little miscommunication from their end to ours, and that's okay, that's the world. It's gonna look great, and we'll continue to improve.
Well, with that, when is the fountain scheduled to be serviced, uncovered and serviced?
I would think that, well,
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know specifically, but all of our stuff that's external would be
Spring,
mid-April.
May.
I was gonna say,
Mid-April on.
March is still a freezing.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to do it now. I
month.
just wanted to-
It'd be everything we do. We open up our bathrooms the first week of April.
Okay. No, I was
Or
just looking
second
for
week of
schedule.
April.
I didn't
So
mean to,
starting around then, I don't know the exact time, but I'm sure it's on
Okay, this
the calendar.
thing is Kathy's not here, that might, slip weeks, I think.
Yeah, we'll.
We wanna make sure we get all that done.
That's a joint effort.
Okay, it'll be
And I
on.
have one other thing that's more in other business, if it's okay,
Sure.
whenever that's appropriate.
Bring it up now, because we're at the bottom.
Okay, so in talking, in my communication with Eric Mason about just asking, is it okay to include photo courtesy of the person's name when we have a photo provided, like, you know, what we did recently, and just include her name instead of photo, you know, courtesy of Longmont Museum where that's applicable, photo courtesy of Longmont Times Call where that's applicable, but when it's an individual, a prior house manager providing a photo, do we state photo courtesy of in that person? He said, yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. In the same message to him, I also said, hey, on another note, how are things going with planning your 2023 historic 3rd Avenue walking tours and having picked some dates? And he said, yes, I have tentative dates for the spring walking tours. So Wednesday, June 14th at 10 a.m. Tuesday, June 20th at 10 a.m.
Say that one more time, June what?
20th at 10 a.m. And Thursday, June 22nd at 5:30 p.m.
Now, what side are these? East side, west side?
It's called the historic 3rd Avenue tour.
Okay, so it'll be up and down these houses.
But what he does do is he starts here at the Callahan House and he goes west on 3rd. And so that's why he incorporates the house in that tour, not rather than the east side tour. But
And where's the sign up for this?
the museum does their own registration process, and those sell out like hotcakes.
Do these just do the gardens, or do they actually come into the house?
They now come into the house because they previously came in with just the gardens. And in my working in the archives and lots of talking with Eric, I'm like, you know, I know lots of people. I've been on your tours. I know lots of people are like, oh, I'd love to go into the house. And then I said, would you like to bring them into the Callahan House? And he got big old grin and he was like, yes, that would be nice.
Wow.
He said, if I can have just a little bit of time, he said, I can't have my whole tour on. I said, no, but if we can arrange at the house to open the house so that you can
But it's
bring them
not
in.
an
But
open
we started
house.
doing
I mean, it's
it's
just
not
the
an
people
open
on the tour.
It's
Okay.
just the people on the tour. He usually has, I don't know, I think it's like 10 to 15
Okay, so
people
it's a small
on his
group.
tour. And so Jacqueline or Betsy would need to be here just to allow them in.
And then he does the speaking.
Well, he can speak, or Jacqueline, or Betsy,
whoever.
or whoever can speak. Just it's
Okay,
very
we just
brief.
hand them one of
But
these.
We can certainly hand them that too, but it is win-win-win. It's good for the house because it allows the community to come in on this very brief little historic tour that the museum has organized. The museum, you know, has the
Is this
opportunity
something?
to expand that tour a little bit by allowing somebody to have them come into a historic house and the Callahan House, and then the community gets a win because it's a time that it's very short, it's very brief, but it's a time to come in and have a little quick tour around the house and then move on with the rest of the historic tour by here.
Is this something that
Community outreach.
we want to put on the email blast? So people are aware?
Not if
no.
it's a limited
No,
group.
no. This is all this is run by the museum. We're just included in his historic 3rd Avenue walking tour.
And we don't need
Stay
to
out of
stir
it,
any more interest.
And
We don't want 100
we
people here.
just make the house available because it's great. It's on 2 parts of the city. It's the Callahan House and for the museum, and then for the community. Everybody
Yeah,
has that
the thing
opportunity.
is, I didn't know where to sign up for it.
Museum.
So the museum, so this is information that we could verbally share with people though.
I think if we
It's
yes
in
we
the summer
could.
brochure,
Yeah.
that's gonna be direct mail to households in Longmont.
That's exactly the
April,
summer brochure.
the first week in April.
Okay,
So
thank
it
you.
is in there on the museum
And
page.
how long, is it like 10 minutes that they're in the
Yeah,
house?
10-15 minutes max.
Okay,
It
I was
is-
just,
it
because
is
having
just a
the
very
5:30
brief-
one, you know, if we have to pay someone to be here.
Is it 5:30 or 5?
At 5:30. The Thursday, June 22nd is 5:30 p.m.
Isn't that something that Eric would arrange though? Through,
He normally, once I got he and Kathy connected, he would communicate with me and Kathy, but he would coordinate with Kathy, and Kathy would be here. So,
I have that information.
okay. But, I mean, if you need a little extra help it's in a way that way.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Sure, Sarah, not
Oh my goodness. That's on video.
But I guess, I don't know, Sue Ellen, if you need any extra help or something, let me know.
Okay.
Be supportive and helpful in any way. So,
Thank you, Karen.
Does anybody else, anything else you want to bring up in the future business?
If we can, put on a future agenda items, art walk.
yes.
What did you say?
Art walk.
Art walk for future
Yeah.
agenda items.
It's a
It's
ways
a
out, but
September one, but
Yeah.
it's definitely one that we should be talking about probably
it's an open house too, so.
probably in May, and again, it's a matter of,
Okay,
gathering.
let's do that at next month. Yeah, can we put that on the agenda for next month?
Yes, when you,
Is there anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
the time is.
11:03. And all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.